Dungeonborne. I couldn't really get into Dark and Darker, but I really enjoy this game. It feels much more accessible in so many ways, and while it can still be challenging by pushing at times, it feels more fair and rewarding overall. As far as free-to-play games or early access games go, it has a decent approach to content. The main game mode has you drop into a map to explore it for loot, maybe kill some NPC enemies or other players, and then find a portal to get out, with you risking losing everything you brought if you die. What I like most is that you can unlock items to cheaply craft between runs and improve the starting gear you have access to. So instead of starting with bottom tier gear every time, if you get on a bit of a streak of losses, you can craft some better gear and hurt in his head. First off, the gameplay is exponentially well balanced. The developers have clearly put a lot of thought into the mechanics, creating a challenging yet fair experience. The dungeon crawling aspect is immersive, with procedurally generated levels that keep every playthrough fresh and exciting. The graphics and art style are superb. The detailed environments and character design add a lot of atmosphere, making every dungeon feel unique and alive. The lighting and effects further enhance the mood, making you feel both the danger and mystery lurking around every corner. I also want to commend and developers for their responsiveness and dedication throughout and the beta and early access phases. They have consistently listened to player feedback and made meaningful improvements. The progression system is another highlight. It feels incredibly rewarding to level up your character, find rare loot, and unlock new abilities. Each decision you make can significantly impact your strategy, making every run feel personalized and strategic. Even better, there is another mate called the Mithril Order. You can play with 3 preset classes to choose from, and for levels of reputation you can gain with them that offer access to more and better gear to choose from in that mode. You don't bring any of your main stuff into that. Not do you keep anything you find, instead it all gets scrapped and sold for resources, and you use by your main character to craft, buy or unlock new gear, so you can farm resources risk-free. The same map and mode as the main game, you just play as a slightly different class, then you have access for the main part of the game. Then there is the PvP. I honestly really like this in the game too. At the start of the 3 vs 3 team deathmatch round, you get to pick from a set of purple tier gear for whatever class you wanna play as, and then you head into the area to practice the combat system against other players completely risk-free. You don't earn anything if you win, but you don't lose anything if you lose. It's just a great way to practice PvP against other players should you run into them in the main game. Speaking of, there are a decent amount of classes to choose from already, with more hopefully on the way. They don't all have multiple skills abilities to choose from yet, but eventually they should. Currently the cryomancer, priest, death knight and 1 or 3 or 2 others have multiple to choose from. The cryomancer and death knight are undead characters that don't use mana for their abilities, but instead rally on life energy dropped by anything that dies in the map. Simply walk over it, and you restore loose energy. I really like how the different abilities by the different classes can pair with each other against the NPC, enemies, bosses and other players. Even though I have lost most encounters against other players, it doesn't really feel that unfair, and I feel like I have a chance to win even against players wearing higher tier gear than me. It can also be fun to have runs ended because a bunch of players found each other in the map, and the whole thing developed into utter chaos. You still keep the XP earned from the match even if you lose your loot, and at least for me, it feels like there is a 4 or 5 to 1 ratio on runs. You escape with loot versus runs you die to other enemies, a player, or from not finding enough portals for your whole team to get out. There is no battle pass. There are like 5 or 6 cosmetics currently that could seemingly even spend really money on, and while it sucks, they are doing the classic premium currency things of always having a big left for other after a purchase. There is absolutely no reason to spend money on the game if you don't want to do, and the only thing other players are getting from doing is immediately cool looking devil horns and maybe another cosmetic or two that makes them easy to spot in the map. I think there are even ways to earn some to the premium currency in the game base on seeing a fill and paid count for it in the currency slab. In all, I highly recommended this over Dark and Darker, or if you are remotely instead of these extraction style games. This one seems highly rewarding and respectful of your time. Once you unlock a weapon or as a piece of gear to craft, it only costs about 360 gold to craft another basic version of it. I think I was averaging 2-3k gold a run in gold. Plus, you could do daily, weekly or seasonally challenges that potentially also pay more gold. It's not very hard to come by the personal stash. You can use the keep items for all characters to where only cost 5k gold to buy your first extra tab for it. They even also give you 20 of the resources for crafting healing items in between runs for free at the merchant, and you can use them to craft up for 5 and 7 healing of mana potions or bandages to bring on features runs. They boasted a goal of trying to be true free to play, and at least so far, it really seems like they are developing. I hope more free to play games adopt a model like this. It's like kind of model that makes more willing to spend money on it, cause I feel like I'm having a lot of fun in a pretty good game, as opposed to being punished for not spending money to skip an ability grind imposed by some of free to play games out there.